Good evening, everyone. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS and welcome to the daily quiz for 21st February 2024. Let us look at the questions that we have got for the day. Question 1 is, consider the following statements regarding reserve forest in India. First statement, reserve forests are declared under the provisions of the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Now trust me, the moment I see Wildlife Protection Act 1972 and reserve forest coming under that, I know this is an incorrect statement, because the reserve forests, they are declared not under this law but rather during the British time only. There was an act called Indian Forest Act 1927. So the statement 1 was wrong. Now if you see here, A and D are wrong options. Clearly A and D cannot be correct here. That means 2 has to be correct statement, and this is correct. The primary objective of a reserve forest is the conservation of biodiversity and the protection of the ecosystem, including the flora and fauna. And even if I did not know this question, look at the line, look at the statement. Why wouldn't be the objective of the forest to conserve the biodiversity, protect the ecosystem? Both the flora and the fauna should be protected over there. Absolutely, this has to be correct. 2 is correct. We know that. Now, is 3 correct or incorrect? Local communities are not allowed any rights or privileges in reserve forest, ensuring strict conservation. Now you all think, in fact, if you all have this idea, and most of you would be having the idea, the fact is the local communities, they are allowed to have some sort of connection with the forests, because traditionally the local communities always had the linkage with the forest, and they have been seen as conservators, because this is something that has a symbiotic relation between both the sides, that is forests as well as the local community. So this is an incorrect statement, because local communities do have certain rights, do have certain privileges, though they are of course regulated so that the conservation efforts do not get hampered. 3 is a wrong statement. The answer to this question is B, 2 only. And why did we take up this article? You can see in explained defining forests, saving them, the Supreme Court has said that the forest should be defined in accordance with a judgment it passed in 1996. Now those who would have gone through the daily news analysis that we have done today as well as yesterday, we have done the discussions on this. Today there was a editorial in Hindu. So that's how this question comes. Let's move ahead to the question number 2. Now geography question. Consider the following statements regarding El Nino and La Nina phenomena. First statement is, El Nino is characterized by unusually warm ocean temperatures in the equatorial Pacific, whereas La Nina is characterized by unusually cold ocean temperature in the same region. Now this is purely geographical statement. If you have studied El Nino and La Nina, if you have the idea what happens on the coast of South America, you would know this is an absolutely correct statement. There is no wrong point mentioned here. And just to get an idea, if you are slightly also confused, see, this is the Pacific and this side is your Atlantic, and this side the currents, they determine the El Nino and the La Nina and all those. So 1 is a correct statement. If 1 is correct, and here you can see they have asked how many of them are correct, I still cannot determine whether my answer is correct or not. Let's come to the second point. El Nino events lead to increased rainfall in the Indian subcontinent, while La Nina events are associated with drought conditions in the same region. Now again, typical geography question where they have slightly twisted the fact. Everybody knows that El Nino, it leads to reduced rainfall when it comes to the Indian subcontinent, whereas conversely if you look at La Nina, it leads to increased rainfall in the Indian subcontinent. So you can see what has happened is, here they have just oppose the points. So El Nino should have led to decreased, La Nina should have led to increased rainfall. They have reversed the points. 2 is wrong. Definitely D cannot be the option. Come to the third point. Both El Nino and La Nina significantly impact global weather patterns, affecting monsoons, hurricanes, droughts across different parts of the world. Everybody knows. You just think about this. Previous statement, we are saying El Nino leads to reduced rainfall. La Nina leads to increased rainfall. Now, don't you think if the rainfall increase or decrease would definitely cause droughts? They do affect the monsoons. They do affect the weather patterns. And please remember, El Nino and La Nina we usually study from the perspective of India, but they are concerned with the other areas also. So, third is a correct statement. That means now A cannot be the answer. That is, we have got 2 correct statements. 1, 3. What about 4? El Nino events occur more frequently than La Nina events. Now, both these events, their frequencies can vary. And there is no evidence as such which might point out that one happens more than the other. Because whether there will be El Nino, whether there will be La Nina, this all depends on a complex cycle known as INSO. INSO's full form, El Nino Southern Oscillation. And that's why this statement is wrong, and thus we get only 2 statements are correct. That is, B is the correct answer for the question number 2. Moving to the third question. Before that, you can see this is the article El Nino La Nina on which this question was based. Now, if you see here, third question, which of the following statements about the relics of Buddha are correct? Number 1, after the Buddha's cremation, his ashes were divided and distributed among 8 royal families and his disciples. Now, if you all know, when Lord Buddha died, his body was cremated and the ashes were divided amongst 8 different families of the kingdom around the area in which he had taught, as well as to some of the disciples. So this distribution had led to the formation of several stupas where these relics had been stored. So clearly statement 1 is correct, B cannot be correct, 1 is correct. I cannot see the D option. I think that would be 1, 2, 3 only. So I cannot see, and right now you cannot also see, but then let's assume it to be 1, 2, 3. Now statement number 2. The relics of Buddha were enshrined in stupas, which are sacred mounds often visited for pilgrimage. I just now told you that these relics were indeed enshrined in these stupas, which are dome-shaped, and these places people go for meditation, pilgrimage. Thus, they are very, very important points for your Buddhist religion and the people who follow the Buddhist way of life. So, the second statement is correct. C cannot be correct option. Now comes your third statement. The distribution of Buddha's relics significantly led to the spread of Buddhism outside India. Now, please understand, this is slightly a misleading option. There is no doubt Buddhism spread outside India also. Many countries outside the world, Buddhism had spread. But that spread was because of the texts of Buddhism, the teachings of Lord Buddha, and the fact that in different areas, monastic communities had been established in those days. So directly, there is no direct evidence that Buddha's relics led to spread of Buddhism. That cannot be directly said. So, in my opinion, the third point has to be a wrong point here, and that's why the statement 1 and 2 would be correct, because with regards to relics of Buddha, directly did not lead to spread of Buddhism outside India. So the answer here is A. Moving to question number 4. You can see here, Buddha's relics are at National Museum and they would be on display in Thailand. That's the topic from where we have taken this. Last, 4th question. Consider the following statements about coal gasification. Number 1, coal gasification is a process that converts coal from a solid to a gaseous state. Absolutely correct statement. This is allowing for a cleaner combustion process. 1 is a correct statement. Okay, sorry. So how many statements are correct is asked. So 1 is correct. What about 2? The main product of coal gasification is syngas, which is primarily composed of hydrogen and ammonia. Now the problem is, it is wrong. Though the main product of coal gasification is syngas, but then it is composed of primarily hydrogen and carbon monoxide. It does not contain nitrogen. It might be present in small quantities, but this is wrong. It should have been carbon monoxide. So clearly D cannot be the answer. Now, 3rd option. Coal gasification can significantly reduce the environmental impact on coal utilization. Correct. This is a correct statement because coal gasification allows for the capture plus removal of the pollutants. This is done much more efficiently than the traditional coal combustion method. So 3 is a correct statement. Now B cannot be the answer because we have got only 2 as incorrect, 2 are correct. Okay, sorry, 2 it can be. Both of them can be an option right now. Let's look at the 4th point. A cannot be the answer now because we have got 2 options correct. It is a technology that supports the Clean Coal Technology Initiative. Absolutely correct. There is no doubt about that. It reduces the environmental footprint of the coal energy. So this is a correct statement. So your answer is C. 3 statements are correct. Let us go to the PYQ question, and this you can see from PIB we have taken up this particular question. PYQ in 2022, this question came. Consider the following freedom fighters: Barindra Kumar Ghosh, Jogesh Chandra Chatterjee, Raj Bihari Bose. Who amongst the following were involved in Gadar movement? Please remember, Barindra Kumar Ghosh, younger brother of Aurobindo Ghosh, was involved in Alipur bomb conspiracy but was not involved in Gadar. So clearly these 2 are wrong. So either of the 2 are correct. The correct answer is Raj Bihari Bose. Just a second. The correct answer is Raj Bihari Bose because during the World War I, when the Gadar was not getting the sort of desired support, it was Sachin Sanyal and Raj Bihari Bose who were asked to get involved in this movement. So 3 is correct. The answer has to be D, and 2 only will be wrong. Jogesh Chandra Chatterjee was not involved in this. Finally, let us look at the fact of the day. Digital health, any place where you are using the IT, the information communication for these things, for the betterment of the health, that's all your digital health. So electronic health records, telehealth, telemedicine, mobile health, health information system, wearable devices, all these places, this is basically your digital health. So WHO has launched this digital health, and this was agreed, upon in India's G20 presidency. So with that, we are done with today's session. Tomorrow, same time, let us meet for another quiz. Thank you. Goodbye.